Right now, a wall of Atlantic low pressure is bearing down on the United Kingdom, and by tonight, every single region from Cornwall to the Scottish Highlands will feel it. But here is the question most forecasters will not answer honestly. Which cities are about to get hammered the hardest, and which ones might just escape the worst of it? Stay with me, because in the next 15 minutes, I am going to walk you through every major city and region hour by hour so you know exactly what is heading your way this Sunday evening, the 8th of February, 2026. And if you stick around until the 5-minute mark, I will reveal the one part of Britain that could wake up to actual snow on the ground by Monday morning. Most people will not see that coming. But first, let me give you the number that tells you everything. Humidity levels across southern England tonight will hit between 86 and 97%. That is not rain, that is the air itself turning into water. And temperatures that read 7 or 8 degrees on the thermometer will feel more like 4 or 5 degrees on your skin. That gap between actual temperature and feels like temperature is going to catch a lot of people off guard tonight. So let me break this down city by city so you can plan accordingly. Drop a comment right now telling me where you are watching from. Your city, your town, your village. I read every single comment, and I will reply with a specific forecast update tailored to your area. The more specific you are, the more specific I can be. Let us start where the weather story begins tonight, and that is London and the southeast. The capital is sitting under a thick, grey, overcast blanket right now. Daytime highs reached 11 to 12 degrees, but here is where it gets uncomfortable. Once darkness fell at 2 minutes past 5 this evening, temperatures began sliding fast. By the time you are watching this, London is sitting at around 7 to 8 degrees. But with that southeasterly breeze blowing at 13 to 15 kilometers per hour and humidity pushing 97%, it feels closer to 5 degrees. The chance of rain at certain points tonight hits 90%. Now, the rainfall itself is not dramatic, perhaps 1 to 2 millimeters per hour, but it is the relentless, persistent drizzle that soaks through everything. This is not the kind of rain you can outwait. It does not stop. If you are heading out in London tonight, waterproof jacket, umbrella, and accept that you are going to get damp regardless. Now here is where things get more interesting. Moving southwest to Bristol, and this is a city I need you to pay attention to, because Bristol has a problem that London does not. The Met Office has issued yellow warnings for parts of southwest England, and here is why. Days of accumulated rainfall have left low-lying areas completely waterlogged. Rivers are running high, the ground cannot absorb another drop. So when I tell you that Bristol tonight will see humidity between 92 and 98%, with temperatures dropping to 5 or 6 degrees and winds at 15 to 19 kilometers per hour, the real danger is not the cold, it is the flooding. If you live anywhere near Bristol, Somerset, Devon, or Dorset, check the Environment Agency flood warnings right now. Do not wait until morning. Localized flooding is a genuine risk tonight. Crossing into Wales now, and Cardiff is bracing for one of its classic February soakings. Here is a number that puts it in perspective. Cardiff typically gets around 9 rainy days in February, with a total of 22 millimeters. The 8th of February is shaping up to be one of those days, no question. Temperatures peaked at 10 degrees earlier today, but are dropping to between 5 and 7 degrees this evening. The Met Office has specifically warned that heavy rain may affect South Wales in particular, with slow-moving frontal rain bands pushing in from the Atlantic, delivering persistent and at times quite heavy downpours. And here is something most people do not know. February is actually the month with the highest snowfall in Cardiff. Now, snow is unlikely in the city itself tonight, but on higher ground above Cardiff, it is entirely possible. Keep that in mind if you are planning any travel through the valleys. Right, remember I told you to stick around for the 5-minute mark. Here it is. Let us talk about the part of Britain that could genuinely wake up to snow tomorrow morning. And it is not where most people would guess. Leeds and the whole of Yorkshire are sitting in a uniquely dangerous position tonight. Leeds sits in the lowlands east of the Pennines, which means it gets biting easterly winds straight off the North Sea while simultaneously catching moisture from Atlantic fronts spilling over the hills. February typically brings around 4 days of actual snowfall to Leeds. Tonight, with colder air filtering down from the north, there is every possibility of sleet or wet snow on the higher ground surrounding the city, particularly across the Yorkshire Dales and North York Moors. The Met Office has confirmed that as rain bands track northwards and encounter that colder air, snow may develop across the hills of northern England. If you are driving through Yorkshire tonight, especially on higher routes, check road conditions before you leave. Ice and snow could develop with very little warning. Temperatures in Leeds will drop to potentially 2 or 3 degrees, and on higher ground below freezing, but Yorkshire is not even the coldest story tonight. Do not skip ahead because what is happening in Newcastle is genuinely remarkable. First, let me take you through Birmingham and the Midlands. Birmingham has endured a thoroughly wet and gloomy week, and Sunday evening brings more of the same. Daytime highs reached 7 to 8 degrees, dropping to a nippy 2 to 4 degrees by nightfall. The Met Office says Sunday should be somewhat drier than recent days, with occasional brighter interludes making a brief appearance. But let me be clear about what somewhat drier means in February in Birmingham. It means less rain, not no rain. Humidity averages between 80 and 87%. A light but persistent easterly breeze blows at 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. A shower could catch you out at any moment tonight. Now, Manchester, a city famous for its rain, and tonight it absolutely lives up to the reputation. Daytime highs of just 7 degrees, falling sharply to 1 or 2 degrees by nightfall. That is a 5-degree drop in just a few hours. Manchester in February typically endures 14 days of rain with a total of 53 millimeters. That is considerably more than London. And the city averages a mere 2 hours of sunshine per day. Tonight will be dark, damp, and decidedly cold. But here is the twist. Come Monday morning, conditions are expected to deteriorate further as wet and windy frontal systems push in from the west. So if you think tonight is bad in Manchester, Monday could be worse. Layer up, windproof jacket is essential. Just down the road, Liverpool faces a similar picture, but with an added complication: the Irish Sea. Sea breezes carry moisture inland and amplify the wind chill significantly. Temperatures will drop to between 1 and 3 degrees, but the feels-like temperature could dip to -1. That is below freezing on exposed skin. Liverpool in February typically receives 47 millimeters of rain across 14 wet days. Visibility tonight may be reduced by sea fog and drizzle along the waterfront. The Met Office has cautioned that strong winds may develop along coastal areas, so if you are anywhere near the Mersey waterfront this evening, take extra care. Now here is the story I told you was coming, and it is a striking one. Newcastle upon Tyne is set to be one of the coldest spots in the whole of England tonight. The Met Office recorded temperatures at just 5 degrees earlier today, with a sharp drop expected by evening. Cold air from the North Sea and Scandinavia is pushing directly into the northeast. And here is the number that tells the story. While Plymouth and Devon sit at a relatively mild 10 to 11 degrees, Newcastle will barely touch 5 or 6. That is a 5 to 6 degree temperature difference between the southwest and the northeast of the same country on the same evening. As frontal rain bands sweep in from the west and encounter that colder air, the transition from rain to snow over higher ground becomes a very real possibility. The Pennines and areas above 200 meters could see 2 to 5 centimeters of accumulated snow tonight. If you are using the higher routes across the northeast, take great care. Ice and snow are not just possible, they are likely on elevated ground. Do not miss the next section because we are heading into Scotland and conditions there are in an entirely different league. Edinburgh. The historic capital does not do things by halves when it comes to winter weather. Average daytime temperatures reach only 6 to 8 degrees, but the overnight figures are what should concern you. Edinburgh's nighttime temperatures in February regularly fall to around freezing. Tonight specifically, the forecast puts the high at 8 degrees and the low at 4 degrees. But factor in Edinburgh's average wind speed of 26 kilometers per hour and the wind chill becomes brutal. The city receives nearly 72 millimeters of rain spread across approximately 19 days in February, along with around 3 days of snowfall. Tonight, Edinburgh's skies will be thick with cloud, scattered rain is likely, and a cold easterly breeze will cut through the streets. If you are in Edinburgh, a heavy coat, woolly hat, scarf and gloves are not optional. They are survival equipment. 50 miles west, Glasgow faces its own particular challenges. Sitting closer to the Atlantic seaboard, Glasgow gets hit first by incoming weather systems. Temperatures peak at 6 to 7 degrees and drop to 2 to 3 degrees. Heavy cloud cover, moderate winds, and scattered showers are the order of the evening. But the bigger concern is flooding. The Met Office has indicated that western areas already sensitive to flooding remain at risk from accumulated rainfall. The Scottish Environment Protection Agency has issued flood warnings for several areas. If you are in Glasgow, check your travel routes before heading out. And then there are the Highlands. And I need to be very direct about this. The Scottish Highlands face the harshest conditions anywhere in the United Kingdom tonight. Daytime highs reach only 5 to 7 degrees, falling to approximately 2 degrees overnight. Easterly winds are gusting to 25 to 35 miles per hour on the mountaintops, producing a truly savage wind chill. Rain or snow above 600 to 900 meters. thick fog blanketing most of the mountains, visibility next to nothing. This is emphatically not the evening for hill walking or outdoor adventures in the Scottish Highlands. The Met Office strongly advises anyone with plans for high ground activity to postpone. Crossing the water now to Northern Ireland, Belfast is cloaked in cloud and damp tonight. February is one of Belfast's wettest months, averaging a remarkable 16.3 days of rain with a total of 53 millimeters. On top of that, Belfast typically sees nearly 3 days of snowfall in February. Tonight, temperatures sit at around 4 to 6 degrees with moderate winds and scattered rain. The Met Office has issued yellow warnings for Northern Ireland relating to accumulated rainfall and the risk of flooding. If you are in Belfast or anywhere across Northern Ireland, keep a watchful eye on updated weather bulletins from NI Direct. Back in England, a quick word on Nottingham and Norwich. Both sit within the influence of colder air filtering in from the northeast. Evening temperatures range between 5 and 7 degrees, dropping to 2 or 3 degrees later tonight. The East Midlands has been under yellow weather warnings for heavy rain in recent days. Localised flooding remains a risk given how thoroughly saturated the ground has become. East Anglia may enjoy the best chance of escaping the heaviest falls, with drier intervals and occasional breaks in the cloud, but do not get your hopes up. Grey skies, cold winds, and pervasive dampness remain the dominant theme. And finally, Plymouth and Cornwall in the far southwest. The Met Office has issued yellow warnings here for both heavy rain and strong winds. Temperatures are notably warmer than up north at 10 to 11 degrees, but the trade-off is heavier rainfall and gusty Atlantic winds, particularly along the coast. Coastal seas are rougher than usual along the southern shoreline. Do not venture onto exposed coastal paths after dark tonight. So let me pull all of this together, because the big picture is actually more dramatic than any single city forecast. What we are witnessing tonight is a classic confrontation between Atlantic low-pressure systems to our southwest and colder air pushing in from the northeast. This collision creates a weather boundary running roughly from the southwest to the northeast of the British Isles. South of that line, it is mild, wet, and windy. North of that line, it is cold, with the genuine possibility of snow on higher ground. The entire country sits beneath grey cloud, with sunshine in desperately short supply, just 2 hours per day on average nationwide, which amounts to only 22 to 25% of total daylight hours. February is, without question, one of the dreariest months of the year. Here is your quick action summary. If you are in the south, carry an umbrella, wear a waterproof, and accept you will get damp. If you are in the Midlands, layer up, keep a waterproof handy, and watch for localized flooding. If you are in the north, prepare for genuinely cold conditions, check road forecasts for ice and snow on higher routes, and do not underestimate the wind chill. If you are in Scotland, treat this as proper winter, because that is exactly what it is. And if you live near a river or in a low-lying area anywhere in the west of the country, check the Environment Agency or Scottish Environment Protection Agency flood warnings right now. The Met Office has been clear that this mid-February period of 2026 will remain unsettled, with low-pressure systems continuing to dominate. This is not a one-night event. More rain is coming, more wind is coming, and for northern areas, more snow is entirely possible through the week ahead. Now, here is what I need from you. Drop your location in the comments, tell me exactly where you are, and I will give you a personalized forecast update. The more of you who comment, the more detailed I can make the next forecast. And speaking of the next forecast, I want to give you a preview. Monday and Tuesday are shaping up to bring a significant change in the weather pattern. There are signs that a much deeper low-pressure system could track directly across the United Kingdom midweek. And if the current models are correct, wind speeds in some areas could reach levels we have not seen since the storms of last autumn. I will have the full breakdown in the next video, so make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on, because you will want to see those numbers before they hit. Stay warm tonight, stay safe, and I will